In many ways, this settlement is Egypt in microcosm, a highly ordered social structure with job specialisation and mass cooperation. It's hard to believe that in a relatively short period of time, Egypt had been transformed from simple subsistence into a united state which could provide for everyone who worked on its behalf.
What we're seeing here is the final building block in Egyptian culture, but not just for the Pyramid Age. For once this infrastructure was in place, it would never change. So whether they're building a pyramid or setting up a colossal statue, the level of organisation and cooperation would remain the same. But this was the foundation stone of Egypt.
The pyramids are eternal testament to just how powerful Egypt had now become. And in many ways they are Egypt at this time, dominating everything around them on a gigantic scale. And towering above the Giza landscape is the Great Pyramid.
It took around 20,000 people to set in place the 2.3 million blocks of limestone. It remained the tallest structure anywhere in the world for 3,800 years until the building of Lincoln Cathedral spire in 1300 AD. It's a phenomenal achievement for any civilization at any time.
But for me, its exterior can't compare to the sense of wonder once you venture inside. The roof of the Grand Gallery passageway is built of multiple layers of enormous limestone slabs, rising over 8 metres high.
Massive, massive blocks of masonry built on a godlike scale. That's surely what Khufu wanted. I sincerely hope Khufu's eternal resting place was rather less congested than it is today. But it still gives a real atmosphere of the busyness that must have been here on a daily basis. These guys were hauling massive, massive blocks, hundreds of feet up, literally into the air. These guys were magicians. Just look how brilliantly these courses have been laid. These are perfect. I defy any modern architect to be able to replicate this using the tools that the ancients had at their disposal.
Small villages of brick dwellings and buildings evolved into bigger urban centers that soon clashed, most likely for trade products and water resources. Thinis, Naqada, and Nekhen were the three principal city-states of Upper Egypt during the period. Thinis appears to have defeated Naqada before absorbing Nekhen. These battles were fought between the Scorpion Kings, whose identity is unknown, and others, most likely Ka and Narmer. According to some researchers, Scorpion I, Scorpion II, and Ka were the final three rulers of the proto-dynastic period, before King Narmer invaded and unified Lower and Upper Egypt and created the First Dynasty. The early dynastic period in Egypt began in the years 3150 to 2613 BCE. This marks the beginning of the country's historical era in which Upper Egypt, the south, and Lower Egypt to the north were unified as one country under centralized authority. During this time, the divine rule of the monarch started, and a distinct Egyptian culture emerged, including the development of writing, arts, and sciences. Menes, the first king of Egypt, was a ruler of Upper Egypt, presumably from Thinis or Hierakonpolis, who defeated the other city-states around him before conquering Lower Egypt around 3150 BCE. Narmer married the princess Neithotep of Nakata in an arrangement to enhance the links between the two towns. He undertook military operations in Lower Egypt to quell revolts and expand his territory into Canaan and Nubia. He sponsored massive construction projects and urbanization developed throughout his reign. Hor-Aha, Narmer's son, is assumed to have succeeded him in 3100 BCE, continuing his father's military expansion and increasing trade. He was notably interested in religion and the concept of the afterlife, and it was under his reign that the Mastaba tomb was built. Hor-Aha was replaced by his son Jur in 3050 BCE, who followed in his father's footsteps. His son Jet, about 3000 BCE, married Princess Mernith and is considered to have taken leadership of the nation after his death. It is uncertain whether she governed as regent for her infant son Den or as queen, but her reign is notable for being the first time a woman is recorded governing in ancient Egypt. Den, about 2990 BCE, is regarded as the greatest monarch of the first dynasty and reigned for 50 years. His reputation as an efficient monarch stemmed from his economic advances, military conquests, and the stability of his rule, as proven by expensive construction projects and elaborate works of art. Den is the first monarch to be represented wearing the crowns of Upper and Lower Egypt.
Their statues are carved from the hardest and most precious stones. They're tremendous achievements of the sculptors and the workers. Once finished, they have to be transported and not least erected. In the Great House, the rulers live far away from the Egyptian people, surrounded only by courtiers, their families, and servants. Often there may also be a harem. Since the accession, preferably by a son, must be secured, backups included. Only occasionally will a pharaoh show himself to the common people in varying outfits. An athletic naked upper body is part of the standardized representation of any pharaoh. As the head priest, he wears the skin of a panther. Official dress code, however, is a skirt with an oxtail signifying animal strength, plus a necklace heavy with gold and precious stones. With crochet and scourge, he's the shepherd of the Egyptians. With a double crown, he's ruler over Upper and Lower Egypt. For less formal occasions, he wears the so-called Nemes headscarf. There's an artificial chin beard, even worn by female pharaohs. The gods of the Egyptians dwell on earth, in the Holy of Holies of the temples, where only the priests may enter. And the pharaoh, he who sees the gods. So were the pharaohs godlike in the end?
To the ancient Egyptians, the pharaoh was both man and God. The moment he is appointed pharaoh, he proceeds onto another level. He is revered and trusted by the people as the one who maintains communication with the gods. So without the king, the whole system does not work. It is important to note that the so-called God King contains both sides within himself, that of a human being and that of a god.
The state doctrine of the godlike pharaoh is propagated by representing him as equal in size with the gods, often as a trinity, as here with the sky goddess Hathor at his right. Pharaoh speaks with the mouth of God, it is said. His words are considered divine commandments. And he shall rule as Ma'at, the goddess of justice, commands him. The naked shall he clothe, the hungry he shall feed, the quarrelsome he shall make peaceable. In return, the pharaoh may expect obedience, trust, and gratitude from his subjects. Our modern concept of individual freedom and equality does not yet exist. In the truest sense of the word, the pharaohs are kings of the sun. They are the children of the gods and rule in their place on earth. According to doctrine, they must rule justly. Yet, how absolute was their rule?
I think there was a certain degree of absolutism to pharaonic rule, especially in the early, more powerful periods, the Old Kingdom, the Middle Kingdom, but certainly also in the Age of Empire and the New and 18th Dynasty, 19th Dynasty. And you just didn't question the ruler, even by custom. I mean, even today, you know, there's a natural respect for the leaders of our states. And certainly that was operative, but on a much more radical, extreme scale.
Meanwhile, an architectural revolution has taken place. Instead of bricks made of Nile mud, they now build with ashlars, pyramids for the rulers, and temples for the eternal gods. And due to the number of deities, there are also many minor sanctuaries, even entire temple cities, like the impressively preserved temple district of Karnak at Luxor. The Temple of Medinet Habu stands symbolically on the primordial mound of creation from which papyrus grew, symbolized by columns supporting the temple's sky and its roof slabs with stars painted on them, each weighing more than a ton. Remains of paint testify that these dwellings of the gods were once colorfully painted.
Here we are at the zenith. We're at the heart of the pyramid now, King Khufu's burial chamber, and we've hit it at exactly the right moment because the pyramid is closed for lunch. So we've got the whole place to ourselves, and you really get a sense of the sanctity of this divine mausoleum.
The walls and roof of the burial chamber are lined entirely in granite, and it was within here that the body of the great King Khufu was sealed, ready for his final journey into the afterlife.
We're at the heart of the pyramid in terms of its architecture, but we're literally in the heart of ancient Egypt. I feel like I should be speaking in a whisper because the acoustics are so extraordinary. It's a sterile, plain, stark room. It's pretty much like a bank vault. And when you think about it, that's exactly what it is, because it once contained Egypt's greatest treasure, the mummified body of the god king, which contained the soul, not only of Khufu, but of all the generations of pharaohs, stretching way back to King Nama. Forget the jewels, forget the gold. Egypt's real treasure was in here. And it's the first time I've ever been in here without crowds and crowds of other people. And speaking now, the sound of the voice reverberating around immediately takes you back 4,500 years to the day of the funeral, to the sacred words the priest would have chanted to revive the soul of the god king. It's miraculous, it's a wonderful, spectacular place that affects every sense, visually, audibly, in every sense. It's beyond words, really. I think I probably better stop talking now. So now all the elements that made up ancient Egypt were in place. A well-fed, highly organised population that unswervingly followed their God-King, and all of whom shared this fervent belief in an afterlife. Life in Egypt was good.